History is the scientific medium which teaches humanity about its past, present and future, and it is cast iron proof that helps man to become prudent. If man forgets his past, his future is uncertain. And we have learned that man is not wise, and therefore his predicament is in balance. What is happening today with the world politics is pretty interesting and a repetitive sequence from the past history. The time of the Roman Empire, we had periods of time with different fluctuations in politics and people's condition, and the ruling class of Rome and the imperial Rome and the republic Rome. Roman history went through a fluctuation of different dynamic impulses, and it went and becoming example for our today world. Since politics is part of the human organized societies, politics is the same dynamic medium. All of it is used for personal benefits, for country's benefits, and it's a necessary evil, we might call it. And since Aristotle said that man is a political animal, humanity cannot get rid of it. Politics is part of his doom as much as part of his elevation. When the Roman Empire turned into imperialism, and that happened with the defeat of Antony and Cleopatra at Actium by the forces of Octavian. After the fleet deserted them, Rome became an imperial power, and Octavian was the first emperor, called Augustus Caesar. That happened in 14 BA before Apollonius, and he ruled until 27 after Apollonius. The subsequent emperors, four emperors were not that well received from the people. They exhibited a little bit of harshness, of rudeness, and a little bit psychological upheavals. We learn from the biographer of Apollonius of Tyana, Philostratos. We derive today some information from his work, and we have to make a parallelism with today's world events of the election of the American President Donald Trump, an outsider and establishment personality. And that one resembles the advent of the bright Vespasian, who Apollonius gave his endorsement, and Vespasian wanted Apollonius to become his advisor. We'll see today briefly how things are the same, and we do it just for the reason of learning from history and try to avoid the pitfalls in the future, which of course it is inevitable because of human shortness and curtailed intelligence. Vespasian wanted Apollonius to get together, and he wanted ask Apollonius to endorse him, become an emperor, a good one. Apollonius said that he is looking for a man like him all his life, and he probably he is the one. Vespasian was quite flattered about this comment, because Apollonius was famous for his wisdom and traveled to India, met so many people and learned so many things that his fame was worldwide. Actually, Apollonius is the man who have Christians fabricated and gave the name of their own Messiah, Jesus Christ, who JC's history is built upon Apollonius' life. Well, and Apollonius was quite disheartened of the things were going on at his time, and he was looking forward for a better times. He had a confrontation with Nero, who was a little bit of going astray on his priorities, and he had violated the authority he had in a way that he became a tyrant. He persecuted philosophers, and a philosopher, Demetrius, said to Apollonius that when he went to the Isthmus in Corinth, he saw Musonius digging the canal, and he said he expressed outrage of what he saw, and Nero was responsible for it because he wanted to punish Musonius for his own reasons, his own perverted reasons, of course. And Musonius retorted to Demetrius, why are you so sorry of me, Demetrius? Don't you like me working for the benefit of Greece? And he said, do you prefer me playing Nero's lyre instead of digging the Isthmus? That was his brave answer. When Vespasian asked Apollonius about his idea, what was his opinion about Nero. He said Nero is good playing his lyre, sometimes in flat, sometimes in sharp tunes. That means his mind was not stable. Well, so the emperors that preceded Tiberius, for instance, let's see. Here, let us see what he says. Tiberius, he said Apollonius, he allowed his rule to become inhuman and cruel. His ancestor, Gaius, Caligula, that is, he raved and wore oriental dress and won non-existent wars, including making a disgusting revel of the whole government of Rome. He, Caligula also, he made his horse a senator, among other things. You know, Caligula was not stable in his mind. He was like Arcadius, the stupid, the Christian emperor, like Cambyses, another psychological phenomenon. These people had a biological defectness. That's why they were called stupids. The things that those three people did are not logical, they are perversions. And then we have, continue, we have the virtuous Claudius, who found women so irresistible that he forgot to rule or even to stay alive, since they killed him. And what about Nero? Nero, we talked about him with his perversions as well. Then we have another story, that of which Damis, his close associate of Apollonius, told him about a woman in Syracuse of having a baby with 3 heads, and Apollonius said, we are coming in a stage when we will be having the 3 Thebans. The 3 Thebans, he was alluring to the situation of the Theban hegemony in Greece, which lasted in a short time. These 3 Thebans were appeared after the death of Nero, and we have the following. Nero died in 69, and then Galba, 68, I'm sorry. Galba became his successor from 68 to 69. Galba, he died in the middle of the Forum. He adopted Otho and Piso. Otho, who ruled from January 69 Otho and Piso, whom Galba, he had slept with them. Perhaps the man was a pedophile or homosexual. And then came Vitellius, the most profligate of them all. Vitellius took over in April 69. Vespasian said about Vitellius, that he was quite an interesting person. Vitellius washes more in perfume than I do in water, says Vespasian. And in fact, I think that if he were struck with a sword, he would produce perfume rather than blood. He adds debauch to debauch like a maniac. And when he grovels, he treads that the dice may fall badly for him, while the hazards the empire for fun. He is a woman to horse and a stallion to married women, on the principle that sex is more enjoyable than dangerous. I will not mention his more debauched practices, so as not to speak of such things in front of you. But I hope I may not let the Romans be ruled by such a man, and instead that I may make the gods my guides and prove worthy of myself. And Vespasian continues talking to Apollonius to justify his desire to become emperor. He says, "That's why, Apollonius, I attach myself to you, because they say that you understand the gods more than anybody. I am making you my advisor for concerns that affect land and sea. My hope is that if the gods show their favor, I may continue on the course, but if they do the opposite and are not on my side or the Roman peoples, I may stop bothering them against their will." That's the words of Vespasian. He wanted to get rid of the bad rulers in Rome, and he thought that he will become a good emperor, a stable one. Apollonius' speech is as follows. He addresses the father of gods and man, Zeus, and says, "Capitoline Zeus, you, I know, are the judge of the present circumstances. Keep yourself unchanged for this man's good, and him unchanged for yours, since it is decreed that your temple, which the hands of the wicked burnt yesterday, will be restored by this man." Yeah, the day before, the temple of Zeus was destroyed somehow from unrest that sprang up actually, Donald Trump, he came on the scene like that. People were looking forward for a serious man and a man out of the establishment, and the only one who would be able to stir away the dangerous political situation that has been waging on in the world, like the war in Syria. Trump became a favorite of the people, like Marius, who was from poor origins, not known, and he became a very favorable person. Marius made his name under the order of Metellus and his campaigns, but the big and serious breakthrough was the war against the Jugurtha, the king of Numidia, the king of Numidia. That was a big country and prosperous in the place of today Tunisia and Libya. Under Marius, the crazed man Sulla was tutored, and under Sulla, the brave and the very friend of Hellas and of Julius Caesar, who later on betrayed him, was Pompey. Marius went against the Senate because he found out that Jugurtha bribed the Senate not to wage war upon them, and as it proved, his campaign against Jugurtha was victorious, and he annexed that important kingdom to Rome. As a matter of fact, there is another guy who is resembling today's new elect president, Donald Trump, that happened on November 8, 2016, just 9 days ago of speaking today. That guy was Gracchus. He the people were under distress, and because of the Roman Senate's harsh laws, Gracchus came, and Tiberius Sempronium Gracchus, he became a land reformer. The Senate didn't like it, and he started a conspiracy against him to eliminate him. And as the Americans have the college of electoral college, which determines who will be president, this is a precautionary caution of the fathers of the Constitution of the United States. The people not be manipulated by demagogues, and this is a wise step which controls the end results of the votes, as happened today. That College of Pontiffs, called College of Pontiffs, which Publius Scipio Nasica ruled and was the leader of it, they managed to assassinate the brave and the people, favorite of the people, Grahas. We say these things just because they might be coming, the same circumstances might be coming for the new elect Donald Trump. His speeches, his campaigning speeches were so logical and aiming and turn the tables of the establishment, which is so formidable in strength that the man might be his life in danger. We have a big example in the past. The great, we are inflaming some epithets. JFK, he lost his life because of it. He went against the establishment, against secret clubs, against the interests of the banksters. He wanted to handle and get the country back on a logical and justice path for his future. He initiated the exploration of the space. JFK was really an asset for humanity. Also, he diffused the problems and the dangerous situations that America had with the Khrushchev, the Soviet president. Really, a time of needed a little bit of a trigger to break out a nuclear war. And that important and dangerous situation, JFK, John Kennedy with Khrushchev, they agreed upon and diffused the situation. Today we have the same thing, but the old world order, which has been on since 324, since the time of the Constantine the Apostate, founded the Constantinopolis on the remnants of, not the remnants, I'm sorry, on an existed site of Byzantium. From that time on, the world turned upside down, and evil has been ruling the fate of humanity. Today, it's ready to break out a conflagration. Sounds like a Aristophanean word twisted. And the present day until Trump's election, the government of the United States was ready and pursuing hostilities with Vladimir Putin's Russia, president of Russia, with so much of aggression and aggravation that Putin must take the Nobel Prize for patience and prudence. If it were another one in his position, he would not hesitate to pull the trigger. Trump is ready to make amends with Russia and the rest of the world. He wants to restructure his country, to get new working laws, sense of justice, and get rid of all the propolos, the golfers, who has been infested that great country of America, and it has become a threat to the world because of its government orientation, which is not other than the benefit of corporations and the dollar. as a world exchange note, and now in danger. They don't want to lose this status, and that's why they try to bring about an event which will get the world into hostilities, and war break out. So in this little narrative, we try to make parallelism with the history of the past. The Roman Empire was not endangering no other country or nation in the world, only as far as conquest was concerned, but not absolute annihilation like we are facing today with a nuclear holocaust, a nuclear fallout where there is no hope for the future. Humanity will be destroyed. His DNA code will be changed under the chemical exposure. So humanity, as well as the animal life, will be no more as we know it. If we look at the history of Rome after Vespasian, we see, and we try to project today's future for our world. It is hopeful because after Vespasian, very important and excellent emperors existed, took over. Domitian, son of Vespasian, Nerva, Trajan, the great Hadrian, Antonius Pius, the philosopher Marcus Aurelius, his son Commodus. We have a little bit problem with Pertinax later on, and then we have a Julian, Septimus Severus, Caracalla, Marcian, I guess, Elagabalus, Alexander Severus, and go on, or Alexander Severus until 235, until the paranoid and Pachyphron, Constantine, son of Constantius, took over and became a Christian without any motivation at all, except to save his own authority, his own rule. Constantine, he had painted his hands with his family blood, and he asked forgiveness from Sibylla. Sibylla says, no, you have to pay for your crimes, and Constantine turned to a Christian priest who says, don't worry, my good emperor, you do anything you want, you kill anybody you want, it's up to you. When you come to me, I will forgive you, and my God will forgive you too. So Constantine became a Christian with such a benevolent Christian creed, religious creed. He became a fan, and a fanatic fan, like the football fans today. So he let Christianity free agreed that by that time he was conspiring against the authority of Rome. Constantine let it free, and people of Rome drove him out, and the man chased like a dog with his tail between his legs. He was looking for a place where he would build his new capital, and he wanted to go to Troad, but fortunately he didn't poison that land with his presence, but he did harm anyway when he went to that excellent geographical position of the city of Visas, the Megarian. He built upon it Constantinople, and since then it's become a history that led to today events. This old world order through the 1,600 years is still with us, and humanity tries to fight to get rid of it. Donald Trump has been also heralded as a new Napoleon. We are looking forward to see he's making good to his promises. But this will becoming good only when he will sacrifice himself to the good of humanity, because he is in danger, and probably he will be attempts on his life. Already he has made some connections, already made a telephone call to Putin, and this is great expectations. Although he's not a panacea, because he's a capitalist, and capitalism is a failure system today, because humanity cannot live on the prospects of a cannibalistic economy, a casino economy, just for the sake of earning and enlarging the profits of a man and of a company, just for the sake of it. And any man with so much money, he can manipulate, as America is today. All the media, all the politicians, all the people, all who are available for to betray their countries, people, even their families, for their own material benefits. But we have no choice. If things become stable and the world will stop living on a nervous system to breaking point, and all the refugees, millions of refugees around the world, return to their countries and build their countries, the cities, and live again in their own cultures, and each nation in the world will regain its lost culture and the country back to them, because today is being run by the states, the violent states. Then we have the time to come to a more fruitless situation, and our future will become more promising. Until the next time, because this is a circle, and human by its nature is defective. May man live for 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years in peace, but then again will fall into its sins and its cannibalistic attitude. So much for this today lecture. Προς εις εαυτόν, like Marcus Aurelius says, I address this narrative to myself. So we do that, the same thing for me. Be safe, Tom. Until next time.